Before the roosters of Linjon draw breath, before the canal boats creak against their moorings, Shen Ruming is already at the wheel. His hands move through raw kaolin clay in the blue dark, palms reading what eyes cannot yet see. For 30 years this ritual. The clay is cold and yielding, carrying within its pale body the memory of ancient riverbanks, crushed feldspar, the bones of mountains. He works by touch, and by something older than touch. On his shoulders rests an imperial commission of crushing weight, to perfect a glaze so luminous that Emperor Gaozong's tea bowl will appear carved from captured sky. The kilns are cold now, patient as sleeping dragons. But Shen has found something in his formula, something no living craftsman has ever coaxed from fire and earth, and it will change everything. In the lacquered halls of Linyan, where silk screens filter the pale winter light and incense smoke curls like unanswered prayers, Emperor Gaozong places a fragment of the old world into Shen Ruming's trembling hands. It is a shard of ruware, cool as river mist, the color of sky after rain, its surface alive with the finest crackle lines, like frost etched by heaven's own breath. It survived the catastrophe of the north. Countless others did not. The emperor speaks no threats. He needs none. The weight of dynasty, of displaced courts and broken borders, passes wordlessly through the ceramic into Shen's skin. An empire humiliated demands its beauty restored, demands proof that what was lost can be reclaimed. And so, with nothing but ash, mineral and memory, Shen Ruming descends into the fire. Night after night, Shen Ruming haunts his workshop like a man possessed by ancestors he cannot name. Scrolls multiply across pine wood benches, blackened, crumpled, discarded, each one a small death. The kiln breathes its dragon heat, and the air tastes of pine ash and copper and something older, something mineral and sacred. Then, in the 53rd firing, it happens. The glaze does not simply crack, it blooms. Fractures spread across the vessel's skin like frost claiming a winter pond, like clouds breaking open over the Yangtze. The light moves inside it. Shen lifts the bowl with trembling hands, and for one suspended moment, the exhausted ceramicist becomes something closer to a god. But perfection, in a court riddled with hungry eyes and treacherous ambitions, is the most dangerous secret a man can possess. It is a morning like any other in the kiln compound. The acrid sweetness of wood smoke hanging low, the soft percussion of clay being worked in adjacent chambers. Mei Qinghe returns early from the river market, her arms full of mineral pigments wrapped in oiled cloth. She does not call out. Something stops her at the threshold. Through the latticed screen, a figure moves with deliberate, furtive purpose among Shen's private scrolls. Minister Kai Longwei, robes darkened with sweat despite the cool air, pressing each formula page flat beneath a portable rubbing frame. His breath is quick and shallow. The ink impressions multiply in silence. Maisie watches, motionless as fired porcelain, her pulse hammering against her ribs. The Empire's most closely guarded secret is being consumed, one careful stroke at a time, and Shen Ruming does not yet know his life's work has become a weapon. From the cooling dark of the dragon kiln, a single bowl emerges. Shen Ruming lifts it toward the pale winter light filtering through the valley mist, and the world holds its breath. The glaze shimmers, not blue, not white, but something between breath and sky, fractured by 1,000 luminous veins that pulse like living cloud. 37 firings. Months of ash and heartbreak. Now perfection rests in trembling hands, roughened by coal smoke and obsession. The imperial court at Linchang will weep at this beauty. But triumph lasts only a breath. Mei arrives breathless from the river road, her face stripped of color, her eyes carrying news that turns the bowl's radiance cold. Minister Kai has sent men to the kilns. Tonight. The formula is already in danger, and so perhaps is everything. The canal breathes cold mist at this hour, lantern light fracturing across black water like shattered lacquer. Shen and Mireille press themselves into the shadow of a stone arch, hearts hammering against silk and river-damp air. Below, Minister Kai moves with rehearsed calm, no trembling, no hesitation, pressing the scroll into the waiting hands of a Jin envoy wrapped in northern furs. The bamboo tube is sealed with imperial wax. That seal. That sacred seal. This is no act of greed. This is the deliberate unraveling of the dynasty itself. One rolled parchment handed across a dark waterway, one stolen secret traded for gold and power. Shen watches the formula that consumed a decade of his life disappear into an enemy's satchel, and realizes, with cold certainty, that knowing what he now knows may cost him everything. The kiln breathes at 1200 degrees, a roaring, indifferent god. When the Jin agent moves through the smoke-thick darkness, iron blade drawn, the world of song refinement shatters in an instant. Meiloi seizes a long-handled paddle, slick with ash and kaolin dust, and drives the man toward the open firebox door. Heat blooms like a second sun. The agent recoils, his sleeve catching flame, the stench of scorched silk swallowing the familiar perfume of pine ash and mineral glaze. Shelves crack. Finished vessels, months of imperial labor, explode against the earthen floor like broken prayers. Shen watches from the shadows, the formula pressed against his chest, his heartbeat louder than the bellows. The fire holds. For now. But beyond the kiln room door, the minister's soldiers are already crossing the courtyard. The kiln breathes like a living thing, a roaring, indifferent mouth of orange and white. Shen Ruming stands at its threshold, the silk-bound formula trembling in his hands. Years of obsession, every failed firing, every shattered vessel, every sleepless dawn beside cooling embers. He does not hesitate. The pages catch instantly, curling into luminous black moths before the heat consumes them utterly. The smell of burning ink mingles with pine ash and feldspar dust, the particular perfume of a secret dying. His face, lit amber by the flames, reveals nothing and everything. What the Jin will never hold, heaven now keeps. But the minister's men are already crossing the river valley below, lanterns bobbing through the mist like fallen stars, and Shen Ruming is not yet finished. In the jade hall of Lingen, beneath lacquered beams thick with incense smoke, justice takes its solemn shape. Minister Kai kneels on cold stone, his silk robes now stripped of their golden rank badges, his face a map of undone ambition. Before Emperor Gaozong, Shen Ruming sets down the lone surviving bowl, that singular vessel of captured sky, its blue-white walls trembling with interior light. The emperor turns it in his hands slowly, as a man might hold a dying bird. He understands what has been saved. He understands, too, what is forever lost. The formula exists nowhere now but in ash and memory. Court officials stand in breathless silence, the only sound the distant cry of river herons beyond the palace walls. The emperor's expression reveals neither triumph nor rage, only the particular grief of those who rule beautiful, imperiled things. The bowl, however, is not finished with its secrets. He returns to Jingdezhen in the gray quiet of early autumn, when wood smoke drifts low across the river and the kilns breathe their slow, ancient heat. The formula is gone, ash, or worse, in enemy hands. And yet Shen Ruming moves through his workshop without hesitation, fingers tracing the lip of an unfinished vessel with the certainty of a man who carries the secret inside his very bones. He has always known, no document holds what decades of devotion have written into the body itself. The clay yields to him. The feldspar dust rises like incense. One by one, the old gestures return, precise, unhurried, luminous with accumulated wisdom. Heaven was never written on paper. It was fired, slowly, in silence. And now, in the stillness of a dynasty's wound, Shen begins to reconstruct something more dangerous than any formula: mastery itself.